Hi Roger. The Tory party have taken out adverts claiming a vote for the SNP is a vote for Labour. What do you say to that?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that the Tory party say a vote for the SNP is a vote for Labour, and the Labour Party are going around saying a vote for the SNP helps the Tory party. The truth is, a vote for the SNP is the most likely outcome is to deliver SNP politicians. And in the current environment, where it is highly unlikely any party is going to get a majority, that will place the SNP in a powerful position. So the more votes for the SNP, the more we get SNP MPs down to act strongly on behalf of Scotland.
So if no one gets an overall majority, then what will happen? Who would form government?
Right, well that's a very good question. If I can ask Barbara to pass me this book. Quite a long time ago now, in 1980, I helped write this book called Multi-Party Britain. And at that time, quite a few commentators thought it was a bit premature. What the book was arguing was the two-party system was already seen, this is 35 years ago, was already seen to be in decline. Every general election, if you add the Tory and the Labour votes together, you'll find their proportion of the vote has been getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So our voting system used to always deliver one party having a clear majority. That ended at the last general election, and all the studies that have taken place and the recent polling suggest that two-party decline is going to continue. And so the most likely result is that no party will have an overall majority. What then happens? Broadly, two things can happen. One happened at the last general election. That is, a party, in this case the Liberal Democrats, who were a significant third force, they decided to dispense with all their agenda, some would say dispense with their principles, for the sake of going into government with the Tories. That's called a coalition, going into a formal government. The other option is what's called a confidence and supply, where you don't go into a formal coalition, but you still provide stability so that government can still happen.
What does that mean? Can you explain what confidence and supply means?
Right. There are basically two ways in which a government can be brought down in the Westminster system. One is if there is a vote of no confidence in the government, and if the government is defeated in a vote of confidence, that would normally mean that they would step aside and allow other politicians to try and form a government. So a confidence and supply system is where a third party, say like the SNP, says in advance, we will not vote for no confidence so long as we get something in return. That's the confidence bit of confidence and supply. So that would allow a government to still be in place. For a government to function, however, it needs to have money. It needs to have control over the economy. So it needs to get its budget through. So confidence and supply arrangement basically means a third party, say like the SNP, might say to a large party, for example the Labour Party, we won't bring you down through a vote of no confidence, and we'll allow you to get your budget through so that there is stability and the government can function, but we will not throw out what we believe in. We will want to get through issues that we believe in about better social justice, about a change in aspects of economic policy, against illegal wars, against some of the things that they've been doing in terms of welfare. So it would allow the SNP as a significant bloc still to campaign for the things it believes in and to put pressure on the government, but it would still allow a government to function. So it would not be disruptive to the government system, but it would give a very strong voice to the Scottish people through SNP MPs.
Okay. You were recently interviewed on STV and claimed Labour and Tory are Tweedledee and Tweedledum, but surely they're very different parties.
Well, they are different parties, and of course there are some issues that they will have a difference of view on. The reason they appear like Tweedledum and Tweedledee to people like myself, and I think to many people in the electorate, is because in some big questions they always come together to support one another. Let me give you an example. It's only because Labour and Tories came together that we went to war in Iraq, an illegal war in terms of international law, something that the SNP vigorously opposed. By coming together too, in aspects of economic policy, they both support to one degree or another what's called austerity. That is, they see the way to handle the problems in the economy is to try and cut down the amount of public expenditure and to shrink the state. And they believe it's through that they will right the economy. Our view is entirely different. Our view, and there's a lot of evidence to support our view, is that what needs to happen is to stimulate the economy, to stimulate the demand side, so that people get employed, we create more jobs, they pay more taxes, we create stronger growth in the economy. So we have a different view to both Tory and Labour in terms of economics. And on other issues too, we find them coming together. They campaigned together against Scottish independence at the referendum. So here are a range of big questions. They're willing to support illegal wars together, we are not. They're willing to pursue austerity together, we are not. They're willing to fight together against those that want to see an independent Scotland. We, of course, believe in an independent Scotland. So that in a number of really big questions, and one that I've not mentioned that is very important to a lot of people in this constituency is Trident. Conservative and Labour want to spend 100 billion and more in renewing Trident. We think that money could be better spent on other things. So in terms of these big issues, they're actually very similar, even although they of course do have differences of view in other matters. So that's why I call them Tweedledum and Tweedledee. And I think if you go out and talk to people in the electorate, one phrase that they often use is, well, they both seem much the same. You know, what is the difference? And so I think it was not just a cheap jibe, I think it was an accurate description.
Okay, thank you.